AI is getting really good, but can it actually write me a roller coaster video? Well, that's what I want to find out. Can the two largest AI models, ChatGPT and Gemini, actually write me something decent? Or is it going to be absolutely horrible? Spoiler alert, it's probably the second option. So let's find out between ChatGPT and Gemini, which one's less terrible. Alright, let's see what ChatGPT is going to cook up for us. Alright, I've already got my prompt. Just going to copy and paste it in. Prompts, write me a roller coaster YouTube video about Millennium Force at Cedar Point in the style of this YouTuber, and then it's just the link for my channel. We'll see how this goes. Okay. Oh, fast cut clips. Great. Just what we need. More editing. Okay, I mean, like, this is not wrong, but it's also just, like, worded so weird. Throw in 6,595 feet of steel track, sweeping over bank turns, hills, tunnels, and you've got a coaster that reshaped the coaster world forever. Like, none of this information's, like, wrong. It's just, like, why? People around you are hyped, some cracking jokes, some nervously scanning the skyline. Click, click of that cable lift. Last I checked, Millennium Force's cable lift was pretty quiet. Then boom, first drop, 300 feet, 80-degree angle. Speed hits, 93 miles per hour. Wind slaps you sideways. Like, why is this worded like this? What works, what's rough, who it's for. Oh my goodness. Ah yes, you just gotta love that classic I just flew coaster feeling. I love that its only source is Wikipedia. I mean, not like there's like much more information, but like, you know, maybe you like scan the Cedar Point website or RCDB or something, not just Wikipedia. Stay wild, stay vertical, and keep chasing that thrill. Alright. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll say that at the end of my next video, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so what I'm basically going to do now is I'm going to edit this up with this script. I mean, it's not going to be like anything fancy, like editing-wise. I'm pretty much just going to like throw up some B-roll and some POVs and stuff like that. Because, you know, we're not here for like the visuals. We're here for the content ChatGPT has made for us. So, I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so I just finished editing the video, and it's interesting. It's interesting, alright. Alright, Coaster Fiends, today we're heading to the Giga King at Cedar Point, Millennium Force. This beast towers over 300 feet, dives you earthward at 93 miles per hour, and if you think you know thrill, you haven't met this one yet. Buckle up tight because we're going full send. Millennium Force opened on May 13th, 2000. It was the world's first full-circuit roller coaster ever to top 300 feet, 310 feet to be exact. That first drop, a 300-foot plunge, and once you crest the lift hill, you're hitting top speeds of 93 miles per hour. Throw in about 6,595 feet of steel track, sweeping over bank turns, hills, tunnels, and you've got a coaster that reshaped the coaster world forever. Okay, first time walking up to Millennium Force. It hits you. The structure is massive. You can see it from all over the park. As you queue up, the lift hill disappears into the sky, getting smaller as you climb toward it, like you're walking into another dimension. People around you are hyped, some cracking jokes, some nervously scanning the skyline. And then you hear it, the smooth click-click of that cable lift. That's your heart starting to race, even before the first drop. And here we go! Lift hill rising. The park shrinks under your feet. The cables hum. You crest that 310-foot peak. There's a quiet moment, a brief second of calm before the storm. Then boom! First drop, 300 feet, 80-degree angle, stomach in your throat. You dive, you fly, you scream. Speed hits, 93 miles per hour. Wind slaps you sideways. Then the ride whips you through an insane 122-degree overbank turn that almost feels inverted. Next, hills, valleys, airtime pops, speed tunnels, ground-hugging curves, that floaty but furious sensation. You rocket over water, dive through tunnels, shoot across the park. Every hill gives you weightlessness. Every turn pins you into the seat. By the final stretch, you're laughing, maybe crying, definitely exhilarated. Heart pounding, adrenaline surging, and you just know you'll ride it again. What works, what's rough, and who it's for. So what works? The height, drop, and speed give an airy, intense thrill that few coasters match. The layout, hills, overbank turns, tunnels, gives variety. Airtime, speed, curves, and that classic Giga Coaster rush. Smooth but gnarly, old school coaster vibe. What's rough? It's intense. This ride isn't for the faint of heart. If you don't love speed or strong G-forces, those turns and drops might feel brutal. Also, long lines. Millennium pulls big crowds. Who's it for? Hardcore coaster fans, adrenaline lovers, first-time Giga Coaster riders wanting the real deal, parkgoers chasing the classic coaster crown, and anyone who wants that bold, I just flew coaster feeling. All told, Millennium Force still delivers, even 20 plus years after opening. It doesn't rely on gimmicks. It's raw, it's pure, and it's powerful. For a coaster that set the bar, it still ranks near the top. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10, because once you go that big, fast, and tense, there's not much left to ask for. If you visit Cedar Point, you owe it to yourself. Ride Millennium Force at least once, preferably from the front seat, eyes wide open, hands up. And if you enjoyed riding with me, hit like, smash subscribe, and comment below what Cedar Point coaster should I ride next. Until next time, stay wild, stay vertical, and keep chasing that thrill. Peace. Alright, so that was not great. I mean, there's just like very little detail, and when there was detail, it was like oddly specific parts, like the cable lift for some reason. And I think honestly the biggest thing with that was like the weird fragmented sentences. It would be like, first drop, wind slaps you sideways or something. Like, that's such a weird transition and like use of words. So I think that was kind of the biggest problem with it. But I mean, overall, it could have been worse. But nonetheless, we still got Gemini to get to. And once we've seen both of these videos, we'll crown our winner and see which one was less terrible. Alright, next up, we've got Google Gemini. Now, you know, Google's been winning some awards, getting some praise for how good their new Google Gemini AI is and whatnot. You see right here, got the same prompt. And it's interesting. It's interesting. Whoa. 10 to 15 minutes? Bro, I don't want to make a 10 to 15 minute video inside of like a 10 to 15 minute video. This is not 15 minutes worth of content. Like, this does not take 3.5 minutes to read. This will take like a minute at most. Cold open? Wait, so I'm just supposed to show a bunch of like footage of the ride without speaking for the first 30 seconds? Helicopter shots? What? Last I checked, that's like the worst thing to do for retention. Oh, Millennium Force, the ride that changed everything. This is the story of the Millennium Force. Don't you forget it. The Giga Coaster Protocol. Should I like add in the video? Should I be like, Chapter 1, the Giga Coaster Protocol? I don't think I want to do that. I mean, might as well at this point. If we're already making these videos, I mean, just might as well. They needed more than an incremental step up. They needed a leap. Alright. The mythical benchmark, 300 feet. Like, I don't understand why they use such, like, random adjectives. Like, why can't it just be, we're set on a new benchmark of 300 feet? Why did it have to be the mythical benchmark? Ah, so now, Gemini and ChatGPT are disagreeing with each other. Gemini says there's no clack 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 of the chain lift, whereas good old ChatGPT says, wait, I can't find it, hold on. Yeah, and then it's like, you hear the smooth click click of that cable lift. But then it contradicts itself in saying the cables hum. I didn't know this was like a difficult like thing to do. I didn't know this was like going to be a problem. The sound of the cable lift, I didn't know that was going to be an issue here. Focus on the cable lift in action. Like, what is there to focus on? It's just the cable lift. A two-part experience. The first is the climb. The immense cable catches hold. Oh my gosh. Voice becomes more reverent. Like, what is that supposed to mean? Do I just like start talking all fancy now? The descent is not a drop. Hey Gemini, I think it's a drop. It is an acceleration. Speed is the element. You blast up the first massive parabola. I've never heard an overbanked turn called a parabola, but alright. My math teacher would be proud right here. Very nice explanation of how overbanked turns are indeed not inversions. Because you know, you want to make sure the colossal train stays glued to the track as it navigates the terrain. It's the closest most of us will ever get to an open cockpit speedrun. What is an open cockpit speedrun? I would love to know. I'm very intrigued. Are you seriously making me do a montage, bro? I'm not trying to edit that. It pioneered the use of non-inverting overbanked turns? I don't think that's accurate, guys. A sleek purple and blue reminder of the day? Millennium Force is not purple, guys. I don't know where this is getting this from, but it's just not purple. Hey, at least Wikipedia wasn't its only source. I guess there's no sources at all, but hey. Alright, I'm gonna go edit this and we'll take a look. But before we get to that, if you or someone you know loves to ride roller coasters and maybe you need to do some last minute Christmas shopping, check out the links down below because I got a bunch of good theme park gear that would make excellent Christmas gifts. And it's also a great way to support the channel. And if you enjoyed the video so far, then a sub to the channel would be fantastic. decades, the amusement park industry was defined by a steady, incremental climb. Bigger, faster, a little more thrilling year after year. But as the 20th century drew to a close, a challenge was issued. A challenge not just to break records, but to shatter the very limits of what a roller coaster could be. On the shores of Lake Erie, at a park already renowned as the roller coaster capital of the world, an answer would rise. A sleek, silver monolith that would demand an entirely new category for its existence. This is the story of the Millennium Force. Chapter 1. The Giga Coaster Protocol. The 1990s were a golden age for Cedar Point. They gave us Mean Streak, they gave us the groundbreaking Raptor, and they gave us the behemoth that had defined the height wars for nearly a decade. Magnum XL 200. But for the park to usher in the new millennium with the appropriate gravity, they needed more than an incremental step up. They needed a leap. Their sights were set on a mythical benchmark, 300 feet. No full circuit coaster had ever breached that barrier. To achieve this, Cedar Point turned to their trusted partner Intamin and the visionary engineer Werner Stengel. What they created together, a coaster exceeding 300 feet in height, was so revolutionary they had to coin a new term. They called it the Giga Coaster. Standing at a colossal 310 feet tall with a staggering 300-foot drop and a top speed of 93 miles per hour, Millennium Force broke 6 world records on its debut in 2000. But the records weren't the most important part. The technology was. Gone was the slow, rhythmic clack 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 of the chain lift. The sheer speed required a different solution. Millennium Force was the first coaster to utilize a cable lift system, pulling riders up to the apex at a brisk 15 miles per hour. It was a clear statement. From this point on, speed would define the high thrill experience. Chapter 2. The Ascent and the Drop. To ride Millennium Force is a two-part experience. The first is the climb. The train zips out of the station with almost no friction, gliding onto the lift. Then the immense cable catches hold and the climb begins. You ascend for what feels like an eternity, the cable silently pulling you to the sky. The lake spreads out beneath you, the rest of Cedar Point shrinks to a miniature playground, and the sheer scale of the ride begins to dawn on you. When you crest that final, gentle curve at 310 feet, there's a moment of profound silence, a view of 3 states, and then a reckoning. The descent is not a drop, it is an acceleration. You plunge down the 80-degree slope, rocking toward the ground and plunging into one of the ride's 2 tunnels. The air resistance alone seems to tear at your face. In less than 4 seconds, you achieve the top speed of 93 miles per hour. This is the heart of the Giga Coaster experience. Speed is the element. Chapter 3. The Flow of Speed. Unlike its successor, the hyper-aggressive Intamin creations that would follow, Millennium Force is designed by its flow. It is a ride that never truly loses momentum. You blast up the first massive parabola. This hill at 169 feet tall delivers the first signature element of the ride. A drawn-out, glorious moment of floating airtime. A sustained sense of weightlessness that is unique to the ride's massive scale. The overbank turns sweeping out over the lagoons are not inversions. They're not meant to flip you, they're meant to maintain speed. Tilting the track at up to a 122-degree angle, they ensure the colossal train stays glued to the track as it navigates the terrain. The layout is a classic out and back, but supersized. It's a high-speed chase across the peninsula, where the only objective is to sustain that incredible speed from start to finish. It's the closest most of us will ever get to an open cockpit speedrun. Chapter 4. The Legacy. Millennium Force was briefly dethroned as the world's tallest and fastest, but its status as the world's first Giga Coaster is permanent. This ride fundamentally changed the conversation around thrill design, and the non-inverting overbank turn for high-speed thrills, paving the way for every record breaker that followed. It proved that a coaster could be immense, powerful, and yet maintain a grace and fluidity that made it universally loved. For years, it was a constant fixture at the top of enthusiast polls. It is not simply a roller coaster, it is a landmark. It is a monument to a new era of steel. A sleek purple and blue reminder of the day the industry shattered the 300-foot barrier and gave us the promise of the 21st century. Millennium Force may no longer be the tallest, but for thousands who ride it every year, and for the entire industry it inspired, it remains an essential experience. The ride that set the protocol for speed and scale. The one that truly changed everything. What are your thoughts on Millennium Force? Do you prefer the weightless float on the giant hills, or the sheer terror of that first drop? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth theme park history, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video where we dive into Intimidator 305. Alright, so that honestly wasn't horrible. There were definitely some more factual errors, like calling Millennium Force purple for some reason. And there were maybe some far-fetched takes in there, but it at least was trying to tell a story, which I think was kind of what ChatGPT lacked. It almost felt a little bit soulless for ChatGPT, whereas Gemini was at least trying to make it a little interesting, you know, tell the story of Millennium Force, which I appreciate. So now that we've watched both ChatGPT and Gemini give me their best script, it's time to pick a winner. Now, they both definitely had their flaws, such as factual errors and just some very weird wording at times. And while ChatGPT maybe did a little bit of a better job at kind of explaining what it's like to ride Millennium Force, I think overall the storytelling and the actual wording of Gemini was a lot better. So I think we got a pretty clear winner here, and that winner is of course Google Gemini. So what do we learn? Well, don't use AI to write your YouTube video scripts. But in the meantime, if you want to know why Siren's Curse at Cedar Point, their brand new tilt coaster, shouldn't be there in the first place, check out the video on your screen right now, because it's actually really interesting.